Alright, here we are in the final 2v2 from this pack as well, and this is starring Bicepsius Maxfolius, aka TheoRy, in the teal, with his opponent, or his partner rather, Kezic. And their opponent are Marksman and Albino. I got that backwards. Marksman and Albino. Nope. Marksman and Albino. I was looking for a Vanguard, I couldn't find one, that's why I messed up, but it turns out that Albino is going to be playing Celestial in this one. If you can't beat him, join him. But it looks like TheoRy is playing his Infernal as normal, and everyone else I think is playing factions that they're pretty comfortable with. Not that Albino's not comfortable with Celestial. I'm sure he's comfortable with all the factions. Got a little bit of laser beam creeping from Kezic here. While we got a Conclave here from Marksman. And what do we got? We got a Conclave also from TheoRy. And is TheoRy going to go help out with that creeping? Now that he's got his gaunts out. Nope, he's going to go let those gaunts soak in that nice Shroud Skin white health down here. That's something I like to do with my early units too. If you're not going to go immediately go creeping with them, let them soak up some of that white health. That means they can last a little bit longer, take a few more shots. And it looks like he's opening with a Shrine. Meanwhile, what do we have going on here from the Dwarf? We have Mass Morph Core. It's our original base, that's our second base. It's going to be our third and fourth. We have another Morph Core here. That could be heading out here. Clearly saving up for another one. Almost time. Another Morph Core shows up. So that one, what are these Morph Cores doing? You can build anything out of a Morph Core, but building a power bank from a Morph Core is not usually advantageous. The only thing you get out of it is speed up, I think. Whereas building other buildings give you a better speed up. Hey, look at that. A cabbage, my friends. We found a cabbage on Boneyard. I thought there might be none, but we found one. Okay, so now we got double creation. I think that's what he was saving those Morph Cores for. Not to go send another one up here. And now, so what, we're on quadruple array, which is 2 base. We have an advanced 4 here, or advanced creation chamber. And Kezic's also on 3 base, or on 3 base I should say. Meanwhile, TheoRy is getting his second base up to go up and running. And we got a little army here, starting to move out on the map, starting to look like they're going to make a little bit of a presence. Now, Marksman's already cleared the energy camp here, meaning that Marksman and Albino are a little bit ahead in the creeping. But these two are creeping together, which means less damage taken, making it a little bit easier. However, Elf has got already, Albino, of course, already has 6 Argents out, 7th one on the way. So after that early eco, able to really pump out some units here, and steals this energy camp. And this is double energy camp for the hot team, which means that these Argents are going to naturally regen really quick, or quicker than normal outside of combat. And that's just going to make them stronger. We now have double Sovereign's Watch going. That might be a little bit extra aggressive. Although if you're really out of position, there's nothing you can do except just hope those laser beams help. And that's given Albino a chance to go back to that energy camp and soak up, and is all the way back to full power. Energy camp's really useful for Argents. We got a single Kree out here, Scout Kree. We got some Scout Fiends. And then the full army is going to show up. Look how long it took them to show up. Having to march all the way across the map like that. And kind of being able to chase these Argents back and finding this creation chamber here. But there's, yeah, too much for the Argents to deal with. They are going to turn into a little bit of a fight while they have a concave. And a little bit of a positional advantage, but it looks like this creation chamber is going to go down. So there's going to be already be a new one on the high ground. And we see an arc station already on the high ground too. And these units are, TheoRy's units are going to run into the whole army and have to retreat. Meanwhile, Kezic's units are like, hey, I saw that stuff going on the high ground. I'm going to try and clear that out. Let me get rid of that base too. A couple of prisms have to retreat. And the arc station, so far, okay. If it can get up on the high ground there, nothing can see it, at least without vision. Should be fine. Marksman's units coming around here, about to engage with Kezic's units. This is not the best engage. We now have aggroed creeps. And there's just a lot of Kree here, and so those Gaunts really can't deal with it. So they retreat. And some pressure from TheoRy down here with a laser beam on the arc station to keep it alive. And, oh, I was going to say a real nice Nightfall infestation, but actually a pretty good dodge out of albino. And now we got some zoning. Those really nice out of Kezic, trying to get those Kree on top and body block. Managing to get some, but unfortunately not able to get a good surround there. Getting on top of that area of effect splash when they roll out. And yeah, nice maneuvering to get them around. Kind of get a little surround on them. Now we got Kree exploding here. Doing that splash damage as they die. And now it's Argent versus Argent on one side and Gaunt versus Gaunt on the other. But we see Marksman's got a lot more. And they were able to clean this up. There's still a few Argents here from Kezic on the left-hand side, but those are going to get chased down by these Fiends. They're straight up just on a move, it looks like. There we go. Now they're going to go in for a bit of a surround. And catching all those Argents. And they go down. This is looking like a pretty big force, especially with all those Fiends that were created from that battle. And albino wants to push forward, but Marksman's like, nah, I'm going back. So, little miscommunication there. Albino also trying to recapture this camp, which again gives him that energy bonus. Allows him to soak up his units and get them right back to full power. By fighting in that energy camp, he can stay on full power. But, yeah, the Hellborn there is enough to maybe make you question. So Marksman's marched back and reclaimed this camp, or was maybe getting ready to reclaim that camp because it's about to respawn. And these Argents are just trying to move back, and it looks like this is just a full-on base up here now. And where are these units going? I'm not sure where they were headed. But there's a giant army of Gaunts here and Fiends. Ooh! Some Hellborns. How are they getting... Oh, the Weaver's going vision on the high ground. And this is not looking good for Marksman. It's a full surround. These Kree body blocking those Gaunts. And the Gaunts are mostly on move command, so they're actually all just taking damage. Most of them go down while only a few of them manage to retreat at the top. That's a bad blow for Team Hot. But meanwhile, this Kree and Argent Ball has moved down, and it looks like double wow. Evolution Catalyst, and I'm not sure who called the Evolution Catalyst on that. But yeah, double Sovereign's Watch chasing them away again. And now there's an Arc Fortress here on the high ground. Oh no, Arc Fortress. We don't want you to go down. And the Argents come in. Those Kree, unfortunately, or I mean the Gaunts, unfortunately, getting caught by the Kree. Here come the rest of the Gaunts. That's a bunch of cousins show up, say, I hear what you did to our friends. We got a complaint. And some Kree as well from Kezic. And this is not looking that great. Albino's going to have to retreat all the way back. And he just lost his Arc Fortress. That's not good ever. Knocked into red power. But here we go. Back up to power. Probably has to summon a new arc ship. Yeah, new arc ship on the way. Of course, the new arc ship's going to show up at tier 1. So, a few minutes before we got tier 3 again out. And the force out of Kezic and TheoRy is looking really strong now. In terms of supply, they are very dominant. In fact, TheoRy's supply is greater than Marksman and Albinos put together. Which, well, that tells the story. And I think that story is going to come to an end soon if they decide to push out. Because this is a big advantage. We got a Fiend, Scout Fiends. And we got the army of Kezic here. Making the first move forward. There's a lot of Fell Hogs up here. The Kree have no problem with them. And now it's just, wow, look at that. It's a whole sea of Weavers. Weavers are great. They just aren't great against any of these units. That's not the typical units that they like to fight against. And in fact, here we go. Here's some units that they like to fight against. But I don't know if they want to fight all these units all at once. If you're going to get an advantage with this, you want that to be going the other way. You don't want your Weavers getting yoinked in. You want to yoink their Weavers in. And now we have the Argents of Albino being caught all spread out in the middle of the map and having to face off against these Kree, which is just a totally micro-intensive thing. So these units are trying to retreat up here. These ones are trying to retreat this way. But of course, Kree with rollout can get right on top of you, and they're speedy. So these ones are going to have to retreat right back to their blast nodes. But it looks like Kezic's going to say, fine, I'll take out this base. You got triple Sarvin's Watch. I don't care. Just don't even care. I'm taking out your base. And even though the Ardents show up from behind, they just focus fire. They don't manage to get the collection array. They have to retreat. Hey, another flower. 2 flowers. Write your parents. Let them know where the cabbages are on this map. So that turned out all right, actually. Elf managed to, and Elf again, Albino managed to retreat back. This army not doing as much damage as maybe it had hoped to. But at the same time, we're seeing an enormous army from TheoRy just gathering here, ready to strike. This army's kind of hiding back in this choke point. Trying to get out. Can I get free? Skirting around the top there. But Albino wants to take them out. Managing to get a Kree. And it looks like this battle down on the left or right side has started to happen here. We got Molten Touch coming down from the Hellborn on the high ground. That's just great. Got a whole bunch of Weavers on the low ground. But they're starting to lash to the high ground. And it's just trading. You lash me, I lash you. Let's see who can lash each other. The Hellborn are just so far in the back there that they're able to get that sweet Molten Touch damage down without having to risk themselves also getting lashed. And there's just a really nice concave on the low ground. On the high ground, a lot of those Gaunts are just waiting in line to get their turn. But now we got a huge flank. And yeah, we got units coming from all sides. But it looks like the Albino's units maybe were just a little bit late to show up because those Weavers really needed more support when they were fighting. Now the Weavers are in full retreat. Albino's Argents also in retreat. Argents are pretty good at all times of the game, but they need power, and these ones are low on power. And they're being chased off by Reaper's Rush Gaunts, which is another thing you don't usually want. At the same time, well, actually, Marksman's force here is pretty nasty and is able to push back on Kezic, with the exception that there's nothing to hit these sides. And now these sides are going to camp out on front. Holy moly, look at how many Hellborn there are. There's 6 Hellborn here. With Molten Touch, they're just one-shotting stuff and melting other stuff behind them. It's just fun to see as an Infernal player for sure. See everything on fire. They want to get a shot off, but they have that such a long wind up. So here they are. Boom! Trying to micro away from these Weavers, because the Weavers of course can lash the Hellborn. But the Hellborn, you know, is pretty tanky. And it looks like now it's just a huge army right in the main base, while these Weavers are trying to clean up this maybe trailing reinforcing army at the back. These Weavers are doing not a bad job, but again, at what cost? We see the whole main is just going down. It looks like Albino's last stand is in the back corner here with all his RGs. And now we got the Weavers and the rest kind of marching in the back into this big bulk, huge concave, lots of size above, dark prophecies going down, not even sure who they are, but melting a ton of units. And that's a GG out of Albino and Marksman, and a victory for Bicepsius Maxwolius.